What's going on, folks? I'm about to show you how you will be changing out a bathroom fan, just in case your bathroom fan went out. First thing you would want to do is pretty much just pull down your cover. Just kind of pull down like that. When it pulls down, you'll have some little squeezy things. I'll show you in a minute what I'm doing. You just want to squeeze this like this. If you can see these, I just squeeze it and it makes it pop out a hose. You come to the other side and do the exact same thing like that. If you can see, you just squeeze in there and it pops down. Once you got your cover off of it, now you'll be able to see your fan right here. That's your fan. You'll have, make sure that before you work on this that you have the fan switch turned off to it. You want to turn the switch off. Once you have that off, you want to go right here and unplug your old fan. Now, before you go ahead and start changing this out, the first thing you should do is test to make sure that there's power actually even coming to this fan, because it could be a problem with the power going to the fan or something like that's going on. And the quickest way to do that is just get you like a charger, a phone charger or something, and you would plug it up right into here, into that little plug-in, and then say plug your phone up to it to make sure it's charging. If the phone is charging when you plug it up inside of here, also you have to turn the switch on. So when you plug it up, turn the switch on to make sure it's getting power. Then once you do that, you know that it's getting power. So if that's the case, now you know more than likely your fan is bad. So the next thing you're going to do, go ahead and unplug your charger and turn the switch back off, bringing power to this unit right here. Once you've done that, now to remove the actual fan itself, if you can look close, you'll be like little bumps on one side of it. Right here, I got like two little notches on. It's almost the same for multiple different ones. So what you could do is take like a butter knife and kind of slip it in that little gap and kind of just pull it out. And as you pull it out, you want to pull it down. And once you have it like that, next what you're going to want to do, I can see how I pulled it down. And then once you have that down, now you may have to take something to kind of, sometimes the wall may be, the ceiling may be a little tight. Once you've done that, now pretty much you should be able to pull your fan out just like that pretty much. What I'm going to show you now is basically if you can find the exact same motor and basically frame that's going to fit back up into the housing up here, then you're good. Sometimes the problem may be you may not be able to find the exact same size frame that's around this motor to go back up in here. So what you may need to do is buy a new motor and take this old one out and put the new motor inside of this frame. It's pretty simple to do it. I'm going to show you how to do that now. Alright folks, so now that I have the fan down, what I'm going to be showing you now is how you would remove this motor right here if you want to put a new motor into it. So all you have to, first thing you want to do is you can take the fan blade itself and just kind of pull it, wiggle it, twist it, it'll come off like that. And once you've done that, you'll see you have like some bolts back over here, and you could pretty much, if you have like a, you know, a socket set or something like that, you could kind of, these bolts are already kind of loose, you can kind of remove these two bolts right here. There's one right here and there's one right here. Basically I'm removing these two bolts, and once you've done that, you see you can just slide that straight out like that. And then once you get your new motor, you want to do the same thing. If you don't have, the motor came into say like another housing, like, well, another frame like this, it has to fit into your housing. And like I said, on the one that I got the new motor out of, the housing, the framing rather, was too big to fit into the housing that's up in the ceiling of the bathroom. So what I'm doing is I'm taking a motor out and I'm going to replace a new motor inside of this same frame. And by doing that, it's just a reverse process. What you want to do though, you see, like if you have this type of a frame with that little bump, you want to take your new motor and make this big, the black part right here, kind of set it in just like that, where that's facing back there like that. And once you've done that, now you're going to want to come to the other side, and you're going to basically be taking your bolts or screws. Some of them may completely screw in, some will have bolts on the other side. You want to take your bolts, make sure you get them nice and tight. Tighten your bolts back up with your wrench or socket set, whatever you have, to make sure those are nice and tight inside of there. And once you've done that, then what you're going to want to do is take your fan blade. You want to make sure that when you put your fan blade on that you don't put it on this way. You don't want the blades of your fan to face up towards your attic, which I believe was the old fan I took out. I believe that they had the fan blade on the wrong way, which means it was facing up toward the attic. What you want to do is have the fan blade flipped over like this to where the blades are facing down toward the motor. You want to stick it on just like that and have your blades facing down towards your motor like that. And once you have that done, now all you have to do is go ahead and take this frame and stick it back up into the housing in your bathroom. You're sticking it back up here. If you can see right here, there's two, like in this one, it happens to have two little slots right here. And in the housing in the bathroom is also two little slots that pretty much I'm going to be sticking these little pieces in like that, as well as it kind of helps you to match up by this part right here is where your electrical plug-in should go at. When you put it back in there, you want this to line up with your actual, where you plug your cord up at. It's going to plug in like that. So when you're putting it back up, you just want to make sure that you line it up to the plug part right here is going right inside of its opening right here like that. And then, like I said, when you make sure this is nice and tight, so tighten this really good. And then when you take your fan blade, once you're sure you got that tight, take your fan blade and stick it back on with the blade part like this facing down toward the motor itself. Alright folks, so now that I basically have the new fan blade back on as well as the new motor inside of this exhaust fan frame, now what I'm going to be doing is actually installing it back into the housing, which is right here. And if you can see right here, this is the plug where you plug it up at, which is going to match with that opening right here, that end opening. And back over here, you'll have these two pieces that's sticking out. You see those two pieces, which are on the opposite side on this one as the plug. You see, you plug it in, you look back over here, you see those two little slots. There's one right there, there's one right there. This is where on the frame itself, you'll have those two slots, those things sticking out, they go into that. So when you're putting your exhaust fan back in, you want to do it from the back first. First you want to take this in, stick it kind of up inside of there like that, and get it matched up into those two slots. See how I got in those two slots? Now that I have it in those slots, now next what I'm going to be doing is pressing up on this side of it. You see where that now the plug is matching up, where I will plug it up at, right there is matching up. And you want to make it go all the way up over those two bumps. Right there, one right there and one right there. So you want to push it all the way up until it sets on those two bumps exactly like I did right here. It's sitting on that. So remember, when you're putting it back in, you want to, here's your plug-in right here. I got that part in, and in the back of it, those two pieces now are going into two slots that's in the housing. Also, if you have a fan that looks like this with this big gap right here, you want to cover that up because you don't want your exhaust fan to be sucking air from your attic. So you want to take some duct tape or something like that and cover up these gaps that's around the housing on this exhaust fan. Like I said, once again, you want to put the back end first, put the back end like this in, and then you want to raise it up like that to put this part in and get it above those two bumps. And once you've done that, now you just want to take your plug it back up like that, and then before you put your cover back on, go ahead and turn the fan on and test it and make sure it's working fine. And when you put your cover back on, you'll see these slots. See these two slots right here? You'll have two on that side as well as two on the other side. And that's basically where when you take your, that's basically where when you take your cover, you put these two little metal pins in. You just squeeze it together and put it up in those two, you squeeze it together and put it up in those two slots right there. Alright folks, once again, this is how you would install a new exhaust fan motor in your bathroom, as well as how you would change the motor out in the framing, just in case the frame that the new one came in is a little bit too big to fit inside of its housing. And like I said, once again, if you have it like this, you see these gaps, go ahead and cover that with some tape or something, because you don't want your exhaust fan to suck in air from your attic. Alright folks, please check out our other helpful videos. Please like this video and please subscribe. Thanks.